So, Anthony, it's been 4 years since we're doing this show together, and all the tech problems that both you and I are having this morning remind me of those crazy early days.
They don't go away. My computer literally blew up this morning.
Yeah, and I'm having trouble with mine too. Hey, let's see what happens.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey, everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's Anthony Melchiori, and I'm sitting here with my laptop in front of my studio because none of it's working. So, yeah, good times. How are you?
Yeah, you updated your software system this morning, huh?
Yeah, Windows really has been wanting me to update to the new Windows version for a very, very long time. And for some reason, Anthony, I decided to go ahead and do that. Serves me right. Now my whole machine is not even functioning. So I got that excitement ahead of me now to deal with.
Yeah.
So I got that.
Well, I can't get into my computer or my email now. So anyway, we're here. And how are you? 4 years, man.
Yep, it sure is. And it's amazing how much things have changed in the 4 years. And one of the things that happened right at the beginning of 4 years ago, of course, was all sorts of math. Companies had to do what they had to do in order to survive. And unfortunately, one of the problems with that is a lot of people did not come back to work in the hospitality industry, even though the demand for those folks is more than ever. That's why I was excited. Yesterday, we got to talk real extensively about the brand new show you have on YouTube coming out this week, Hotel All Stars, right?
Yes, so please watch it Thursday at 3 o'clock. It'll be live for free, Hotel All Stars on YouTube. If nobody watches it, there won't be a third show. So please, there's 2 shows. One will be airing Thursday at 3, and then there'll be another one in April.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to see what those shows are all about, Anthony. Although, I did see one of them, so I do have that. Meanwhile,
you got a sneak peek, and you were very kind. You really liked it.
I really liked it. I mean, seriously, you know me. One of the problems that I have is everybody thinks I'm a little too direct. So, when I really like something, you got to believe I really like something. And man,
you really like my book too.
Dude, you just cut me off when I was going to say. Not only did I love your book, which is one of the most authentic sounding voices I've heard, but the TV show also follows that same sort of pattern. So I'm really excited for the world to be able to see this particular show.
And if you're listening to this, we're going to send out a real quick post. So if you don't see it, it's going to be gone pretty quick. But I'll say it here on live tomorrow at 6 o'clock in Margaritaville. If you DM me, you need a code. You need an RSVP. Yeah, in Times Square. If you DM me, and we still haven't run out of room because it's very, very limited seating, you can come to a little pre-show party.
Yeah, awesome.
But that's going to be DM me on social media. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Fantastic. So I do want to take a minute today, Anthony, since we don't have a guest today, just talk about a few things that we're seeing out there in the hospitality industry. And I think a great place to start is Hampton Inn has just celebrated the opening of its 3,000th hotel, and it's also coming out with a brand new construction prototype. So I thought it'd be fun to get your thoughts on what Hampton Inn did for the overall hospitality industry.
I think it changed everything. I think it's been one of those staples. And is it the biggest brand they have within the company?
Yeah. It has to be.
Yeah. So
it's like I don't know it for a fact, but I know it's true.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know if it's first to. It wasn't first to market. Who was the first brand to market in that category?
I would say it's Courtyard by Marriott, which first made that debut and kind of woke up the rest of the industry to it. Hampton Inn started as part of, as you probably recall, Promise Hotels out of Memphis, Tennessee. And Hilton acquired that pretty early on, considering it's been around for like 40 years now. I think they probably acquired it about 10 years after it started.
The first company I worked for in New York City was Promise Hotels. I worked for the president, Mr. Rose. He came to our hotel opening, and I remember him very early on. So yeah, I remember Promise. But yeah, so what they're doing is amazing. Listen, consistency. And what's happening is when you have a boutique hotel that's under the Autograph brand, or not the Autograph, but one of these white label brands, soft brands, it's so critical and important to keep the standards of the brand throughout. And so now where they have 85% of all hotels are a brand, either in name or it's behind the scenes. Is that the case?
I'll say, could you repeat that one more time, please?
85% of hotels are branded hotels, either soft brand or hard brand.
I would say here in the United States, yes. Globally, there's still so much more opportunities for these major hotel companies to expand with branding or soft branding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great brand, man. I stay at them all the time.
So I'm trying to stall for time right now, Anthony, because I'm on my laptop, and for some reason I'm having trouble with that as well. And the source for the article that I was going to bring up has vanished on the specifics on what's it called, on the Hampton new construction prototype. So what a day for us today, not being able to get anything.
You would think we would figure out these technical issues 4 years ago, right?
Oh my God! I don't know what's going on with our flashback sort of a thing. All right, so
listen, I will tell you, when you have tech issues, I'm much happier than when I have tech issues.
Yeah, seriously, dude. It's like it's really ridiculous today. All right, so while I don't have the specifics up here right now for the Hampton prototype. I do recall that they are going to be able to add some more rooms to the same footprint by reorganizing how the structure is built. And they've got a new FF&E package that's going to help reduce costs in that area by 6%. So they're really, Anthony, when they're thinking about this new construction prototype, they're finding ways to lower expenses towards ownership while finding ways to be able to help them make more money, which I think is a good common theme for our industry to follow.
The priority right now, when people talk to me and go, it's so hard to sell into the hotel business, it said, we have to save owners money. Expenses are so high, the costs are just out of control, that these prototypes, these brands that are coming in have to be cost-saving brands. They absolutely have to be. Or you're not going to have people buying them. And it's that simple. And let me ask you another question that it just popped in my head. Everybody was on the extended stay program, was the extended stay prototype or hotel. I can't talk this morning. Everybody's on the extended stay. Is that kind of waning a little bit? Like, because average rate and occupancy in extended stay is going down a little bit? What are you seeing?
All right. So I think there's two things going on. Number one, I fundamentally believe that extended stay is still front and center in the industry. Evidence behind that is they are less expensive to operate when done correctly. Put a pin in that one. Also, more further proof is the segmentation of, do we have an extended stay product, but we have extended stay products that are coming out that are appealing towards different slices of the industry, including Hilton's latest project, LiveSmart, which is focusing on 28 days or longer, and WaterWalk, which is focusing on either the shorter extended stay periods of up to a month or just apartment leasing on a month-to-month kind of basis. So we're still seeing a lot going on over there. But I think, Anthony, the biggest problem with the extended stay market is hoteliers' instinct to sometimes go ahead and treat it like it's a regular transient hotel. And if you start looking for that transient business, well, then all the economics of it start to change, unless you have a product specifically created for those multiple types of stays, from short transient to a week to a month, such as My Place hotels.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing. When I was running Sensei Hotel, I mean, we would take anybody, and we're in Times Square, so we didn't really dilute the average rate. If anything, our average rate and occupancy were great, but we didn't really have we didn't have 4 night stays. We had, that was, so our average stay was like maybe 1.8 or 2, which was typical of my industry, maybe, or my comp shop. Maybe it was a little higher, but
Right.
all in all, yeah, that's the number one priority, is to try to stay within that scope. However, I think the reason we had the extended stay brand, there were no other brands available,
Right.
and the owner just went with the brand that was available.
Yeah, and additionally, I would
That happens too.
argue,
That happens a lot.
yeah, and I would also say anecdotally, New York City is a very different type of market that probably doesn't have that same type of extended stay sort of business, particularly where that hotel is located right in the middle of Manhattan. It's kind of a
Yeah,
different sort
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah. If you're opening up a hotel in New York City and you don't need the brand for the bank and for your mortgage, why are you putting a brand on a hotel in New York, in Times Square, in New York? And that's just
Right.
my opinion. That may not be a popular one, but it's true. Like in New York City, if you don't need it for the bank, you'll listen. There's a lot of families, private families I've worked for, that have independent hotels with no brand, and they kill it.
Yeah.
They kill
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, but there's not very many places like that, right? Obviously, the Las Vegas Strip, those companies created their own types of brands. I would say national park hotels, even though Xanterra's got a lion's share of them, you don't need necessarily a brand. They're more of an operator. But fundamentally, I think in order to be able to connect with customers, you have to have some sort of branding, unless you're in Times Square or one of these other
Yeah,
places.
yeah. Or if you're in a town that is like one or two hotels are feeding the town, and it's really
Right.
kind of branded towards the town, and it's kind of a town
Let's
hotel,
go with Peabody,
then as
Memphis.
long as you stay true to the local market. Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect example.
Yeah.
And even smaller hotels than that, very, very, very critical. And and just because a brand works in one market, as one hotel in Vegas is finding out, doesn't mean that
Mhm.
brand's going to work. Outside of Vegas doesn't mean it's going to work inside of Vegas. So it's a complicated business. If you don't have an expert, on your team before you open the hotel, such as myself,
Yep.
trying to give you or even like picking brands, like you're an expert at that. So like you need experts on your team
Yeah.
to make.
Absolutely. And when you have experts on your team, you could pull off anything. And one of the cool things we were talking about yesterday, and I encourage everyone to follow the podcast from March 25th, where we talk about Hotel All Stars, is one of the challenges that the team went through with having to put together a party last minute for somebody. The cool thing is, this morning, Dr. Producer Suzanne sent us a story where a husband, a bride and groom show up for their wedding, and the place forgot that they were even supposed to be there. No wedding was planned, nothing. It's not like they had a massive group of people. They were going to elope. It was a small thing, but they had nowhere to go. So they pulled in front of the Omni Parker house. Sophia, the bride's mother, ran into the hotel and said, "Hey, can we do a favor?" Next thing you know, the team put together a wedding for them. Boom, just like that.
Yeah, and that will go viral, and that would be the biggest marketing thing that they've done. They probably have a marketing budget of 20 grand a month, and that little thing that they did will be worth $100 million worth of advertising.
Yeah, right. And that's really the best that you can offer. So what do you think? What do you think it was like for the team that was trying to pull that together in the last second?
It's, if you have the focus of yes is the answer, what's the question? It's like an emergency room doctor. They haven't seen everything, but they're
Mhm.
ready for anything. So if
Right.
if you have a proper mindset in the hotel business, I mean, those things don't throw you. Those things are just like, all right, let's do it. Like, we know we can do it. Like, there was a time I was sitting at the pool deck of Nickelodeon, and
Mhm.
I'm with my director of entertainment, Nicole, and a couple other people, and we're thinking about ways to reconstruct this one of the pool decks. There's two major pool decks, and as we're sitting there in this meeting, planning meeting, I saw a woman and her daughter running past me, hysterical crying, and she's grabbing the
Uh-oh.
daughter, and daughter's crying, and she looked pissed off, and I jump up and I run over there and I go, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And she goes, "You work here?" I said, "Yeah, I'm the vice president." She said, "We were supposed to have a SpongeBob birthday party for my daughter. She has 4
Uh-huh.
friends, and it was supposed to be, it was a Thursday, I think. It was supposed to be today at 11 o'clock, and there's no SpongeBob. And we drove from Atlanta, so we're getting
Oh
the
my
F out
God.
of this hotel, and we're going back to Atlanta." And I said, "No, you're not. What room?" I said, "Nicole, come here, please." And Nicole and I were talking to her. And as I'm talking, I said, "Just go back to your room. Give us what, an hour, Nicole?" And Nicole's blank. Nicole's not talking. I go, "About an hour, Nicole?" She said, "Can you give me an hour and a half?" I said, "Can you give me, yeah, yes, absolutely. Go back to your room. We'll have SpongeBob." She goes, "We have no staff. We have nobody. We have nothing." I was like, "Yeah, that seems like a issue that you need to overcome." And I walked away
Yep.
and I adjourned the meeting. I adjourned the meeting, and I loved Nicole. Nicole was a superstar, and I knew she would do
Yep.
it. And of course, she did it, and they loved it. And you know, it was fantastic for everybody. It was fantastic for the staff. It was fantastic for us. If I had to get in the SpongeBob costume, I would have gotten this. I literally would have gotten the SpongeBob costume.
Of course you would have.
And,
There's
and so when you have that mindset, like, and I can't teach the mindset. You can be, you know, a person that exemplifies it. You can have a team that exemplifies. If you don't get that mindset, you know, there are no problems, right? There, like when you're dealing with guests, there are no problems. Fixed. There's no hot water in the building. Okay.
right.
There's no hot water. I'm sorry. I have a room ready for you. I have a cab outside. We're going to bring you to the Four Seasons 5-star hotel, and we're going to bathe you. You want us to bathe you? We'll bathe you. All right. It's like there's no problems, ever no problems. Just we'll handle it. And I think that that's the mindset that that team has, and that's the mindset of a team you want to be around. I was telling you
Yeah.
stories yesterday about Hotel Impossible and 5-Star Secrets. You know, the Danas and the Alexes and the Maddies and the Lisas and the John Kellerans and all those people that I've worked with, they handle it. Just handle it. I remember I asked, we were doing a show in Pennsylvania, not Pennsylvania, in I don't remember, maybe Florida, and there was a gentleman who had an alcohol problem. Pennsylvania, it was
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, Hershey, Pennsylvania, had an alcohol problem, and it was bad, and we knew it was bad, and we caught him drinking. It was terrible. And
Mhm.
and I was like, "I'm out." After the camera went down, I said, "I'm out." They said, "Why?" I said, "Because this is a bigger problem than I can handle. I don't handle things like this. I don't know what to do, and I'm not going to talk to this guy on camera and try to fix the hotel. This guy's got a life and death problem. I'm not. I'm out." And
Right.
they said, "What do you mean you're out?" I said, I'm going home. Unless you have a person that deals with this kind of problem, excuse me, that could basically be my co-host on this show,
Right.
I'm out." And I
Right.
went back to my hotel room. It was at the end of the
And
day,
then
the
what
first day. I went back to my hotel room. I wake up in the morning and I'm getting ready to go to set. And and everybody knows me. I'm not playing. And I'm like, "I'm coming to set, but do they have somebody?" And they said, "Yeah, they do." I said, "Great." The guy was in Washington D.C. Somehow he knew somebody, and he ran a sober house. And he's an expert. And they took him from Washington D.C. He was getting on a bus or something, and redirected him that night. And he drove hours and hours to get there to our show, and he was there first thing in the morning. And the man was a master, and basically saved this man's life.
Wow.
And so again, my team knows. Let's fix it,
Yeah.
and
All right.
that's a mindset I've always had.
So I want to know specifically when you were, running the Nickelodeon property down in Orlando, when you had that SpongeBob incident. Uh, how did it actually get solved? I want to know the mechanics behind it. And while you're thinking of that, yes, we do read chats. So there you go.
They
Go
do
on.
what?
Yeah. Nothing. I was talking to a viewer.
Um, uh, Listen, we have everything we need for the party. The only thing we don't have is bodies.
Yep.
Call everybody. We had 1,200 employees. We can stop. We can shut down spaces, and we can get people to this birthday party. you can put me in a SpongeBob suit. So they just went and got people. They called people at home. They called the SpongeBob guy at home. He came in, and again, and maybe it was even my friend who's now the spokesperson, or the Ruben, who is the warm-up guy and the voice of Family Feud. He was SpongeBob at one point, I believe. He could have been in that costume. Doesn't matter. And no one questions you. When you're running a property with that mindset, there's two things that came out of yesterday when we were talking about Hotel All-Stars. One, when I'm working and when we have a plan, it's not about me, it's about the plan. So everybody knows if you're going to touch the third rail, you're going to have a long day. And the rail is not me. The rail's not me getting intense. The rail's not, or you're going to get in trouble. The rail is the mission. I always have the mission statement up everywhere. That's the third rail. You touch the mission and you screw the mission up, you're going to get electrocuted. Number one. So when you have that mindset of that's the mission, and number two of anything's possible, those are all great hotels, man. Those are all great hotels.
Give me a story of something that was super difficult to pull off, and when you did, it felt more satisfying than other things that you've accomplished in that idea.
It's interesting that you would think I have a story available at the top of my head. So we take over Nickelodeon, and David Harker, I hire him from Colorado. He comes on, and
David Harker focuses on food and
4 days a week.
Yep.
Yeah, he was our chef, and so I hire him, and he was just like kind of a, just a common sense chef, right? And just a great guy and great talent. So anyway, he's living in Colorado. He comes in. We're supposed to, the first 2 weeks of opening or reopening or repositioning, he was supposed to stay for 2 weeks and then go home and then just commute every week, right? So like I was supposed to do. Well, we were there for, God, I don't know, straight for many weeks. And we were Nickelodeon was going to take the brand off the hotel because we just licensed the brand. The owners were upset. That's why I came in and to turn around. And we're about to lose the brand. The president of Nickelodeon would not come to the hotel. Long story short, because our family, so it's all food and beverage, right? We have this big place. We have buffets. We have all kinds of food and beverage, and we had to shut it down because it was so bad. And we were literally days from shutting it down. And thank God I found Dave. And Dave went to work, and all you saw was smoke come out of the kitchen. And I left him alone, whatever he wanted. One day he comes to my office, and he didn't get super hyper, but he would come in and he goes, I need a biggest garbage disposal. I probably told this story. I need a biggest garbage disposal. I said, done. I go, how much is it? He goes, I need a biggest garbage disposal. I said, I understand. So I go and get this big garbage thing. We back it up with a big truck and give him what he wants. And he goes to work, and everybody was going to walk out. Everybody hated the kitchen. Everybody at work there hated it in the kitchen. Within 6 weeks, not only we turned it around, they insisted we had a party for Dave. And the entire food and beverage division gave him a grandfather clock.
Wow.
I don't know why grandfather clock, but literally this man single-handedly saved my ass.
Wow. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, maybe somebody.
And then other managers.
Maybe somebody got a deal in an estate sale on the grandfather clock.
I will tell you, I did nothing at Nickelodeon but set a standard and make sure I had good people around me. I had the best people, and they made me look good. I didn't make them look good. They made me look good.
That's awesome. All right, Anthony, anything else you want to talk about today?
What's that, boss?
Anything else you want to talk about today?
You're going in and out, Glenn. You're freezing.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about today?
I do. I want to talk about Thursday at 3 o'clock. Thursday at 3 o'clock. Go to YouTube All Stars. Please watch the show. It's going to be one show, then a second show in April, and hopefully we'll have more and more and more for you. And tomorrow, if you happen to be in Times Square, DM me, and maybe if I have a couple of last-minute RSVPs or invitations, I will be able to get you in. And I'll be signing, I think I have 20 books left, and I think I'll be signing those as well. They're free. You don't have to buy them. And unfortunately, Glenn said under no circumstances will he come, so he won't be there.
Yep. Yeah. So,
and Glenn, I think Glenn, you're frozen. I think we got to end this.
All right. Yeah, I'm having some internet problems today as well, apparently. over there. All right. After you watch Anthony's show Thursday at 3, join me for a session I'm doing with Integra on the No Vacancy podcast page on banquet season and ideas that will energize you. And while you're at it, why not follow us? Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, NoVacancyNews.com. Thanks, everybody. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on, and
Be kind to yourself.
see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with working technology.